vinyl cutting really lends itself well to something in the Northwest Coast form line style of design, which we often refer to as Haida art, but that it's all of the Northwest Coast. And using the form line and patterns. What we don't want to do is we don't want to copy the raven and the whale because they have specific meaning to the Native groups and First Nations group here in the area. So we have to come up with our own idea. So a little while ago, I met an artist. Her name is Chantel Trenamatis. She is First Nations, but she uses a different type of object as an idea. So in this case, a Pokemon. She's taken other animation characters and then created in that form, which I thought was a great way of getting at that. So I thought, okay, if I'm going to do this myself, what kind of would have a meaning for me? And for me, in this case, it's this guy here. I'm not sure if you know him. He's the Pink Panther. So I found this image. Okay, I'm going to try and recreate this kind of image using the Northwest Lineform. And here is the product. So I'm going to show you how I got there using Illustrator. So in Illustrator, I brought in the image. That's the first. And then the first thing I did is I used the pen tool to draw the outline of the shape that I needed. And here it is. Here's the rough outline of the shape. So that's my starting shape that I needed to go with. And now if you haven't seen pen tool works, just this is definitely an application for the pen tool. So what we want to do here is using the pen tool, you want to be on the pen tool, and then you need to click, and then again, and then you can drag with the key to get the shape that you want. And then when you go to the next point, again, you can drag and go to the next shape. And if you click on the anchor, then you can start with a straight line, and you can sort of change the direction of the line that you have, right? So that allows you to do things that have straight lines or slight different curves, so you can change the edging. Now, if you notice this is sort of disappearing, it's because my colors set to white, so no colors at all, so that would help. Let's give it a black outline just so you can see how the shape looks like. And I'm also going to give it a black fill for now. Now, what I learned in doing this assignment for myself, this guy, I tried to build it up and have a new shape inside a new shape, but it looked somewhat awkward. And then I realized the smarter way would be to take my selection tool, hold down my Alt key, and drag the shape, change the color to white. When you drag it, you make it when you hold down your Alt key. So I make that into white, and then I'm going to change the size of it. So I'm going to change the size and shape slightly, and then again do that again. I hold down my Alt key, make the next one black, and again I can change around the shape or the size and build that in here. And I'm going to do it one more time. And so you can see how relatively quickly I can build that sort of free-form shape to get that type of dynamic shape. And that way I'm starting to build these organic shapes that build one on top of the other. So once I've done that, so what I did is I first colored in the layer just with the rough shapes here, and I added some freeform shapes. Now I did the objects with an outline. Get that others, I created the shape by itself, and that's going to come bite me in the derriere in a little bit, but I'll show you I built it up. I used little triangles for teeth, and so then I used that shape builder and ended up building more and building up the entire shape. So this is how the image looked in the end. Now, that looks pretty good, and if I were to print it on paper, that would be just fine. The challenge is when you switch to CPU preview, look what happens around the eye actually. If I go to the outline mode, you notice that thickness that was here, the eyeball, that was an outline, and so did these are going to print. If I cut this out, this is not going to make sense as an image. So what I have to do is I have to expand the image so that the outlines become objects. You can see how these are different objects, right? And now, and I'm going to just go back to my demo mode here. In my demo mode, you can see that these shapes that are built are overlapping, so how do you combine them? So the way that works is if you select the objects, and we're just going to show you with this stuff here, and you use your shape tool, if you drag from one shape to the other, you can combine the shape that you want to have. And if you hold down your Alt key and start from the outside, you can take away shapes that you do not want. So you can go in, say, okay, I don't want this stuff, but I do want, well, now it doesn't make much sense here what I have, but you get the idea. I can combine shapes and take things away, right? I held on Alt key here, If I did not hold Alt key, I could make the shape like this, right? So you add and subtract shapes that way. So I created that, and once I simplified it and built that, it took a couple tries because I kept messing up in some areas. That's fine. And here is my completed shape that I can then use the vinyl cutter to cut out. And here is if I go back to my Photoshop image, this is what it looks like when it cutter. You can see all of these shapes are cut out. And then I have to go through and peel away using the little knife fingers to peel away the vinyl. So take away all the parts I don't want to print. Once that's ready and it's all cleaned up, and you can see I lost a part which I had to put in separately, goes on the heat press. On the heat press, you cover it up with a sheet of Teflon, and then once you heat press it on, you peel off the Teflon, you end up with the finished image.